Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to MALN Opinion Plus, a weekly series airing every Friday. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions the Latino community is curious about. This week, we're joined by the mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts, Mayor Kendrys Vasquez. He has years of experience as one of the city's youngest council members and presidents, and has previously held roles in healthcare and government administration. Thanks for joining us today, Mayor Vasquez.
Oh, good morning, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I greatly appreciate it. This will be an opportunity to, have an open dialogue about, how we are serving the city of Lawrence.
Of course, thank you. So just starting out, I wanted to hear a little bit about what it was like entering office for you in the middle of such an unprecedented time. I'm sure it must have been so stressful to have so many eyes on you in a year that just wasn't a normal election year.
Definitely. So I became the mayor of the city of Lawrence approximately 7 months ago. And, it definitely has been quite the challenge, but also one of the biggest honors of my life to be able to serve our community in one of the most challenging times in the middle of a global pandemic. And not only that, as we also continue to recover from the gas explosions back in 2018. At first, it felt like I was governing two cities. One, the city of Lawrence, which is daily operational needs, and the COVID city of Lawrence, which in itself had many challenges. When I took over as the mayor, we were in the middle of the second wave of individuals getting testing positive in the city. We have the highest ever, and the vaccines were not truly available to our community members at that moment. So it was very critical for me to get all hands on deck and get to work to ensure that vaccine became available to community members in a way and format that was truly accessible to them. And for that reason, in the city, we created the first call center to do registration for the vaccines. But not only that, we also opened a vaccination site locally run, in which we hire our own nurses and pharmacists, and we have collaborations with our police and fire department to ensure that this was available to all residents in Lawrence and accessible. And we did it in the heart of the city at the Arlington School. We continue our efforts by ensuring that we had a pre-registration drive for those that wanted to register early on to ensure that the vaccine will also become available for them at the next phase. So I am proud of the things that we've been doing, whether that has been vaccinating folks in parks, in the bodegas, in the hair salons and barbershops, in restaurants, nightclubs, in churches, literally anywhere in the city where there's people. We have been there by having pop-up sites or in our mobile units.
Well, thank you for that answer. It sounds like you and your team have had so much on your plate. As someone who has had a lot of previous experience working in local government, and as well as your previous work in healthcare and as city council president, how do you think that's applied to how you're approaching your work now as mayor?
Well, it gives me a clear understanding of the needs of the community. Understanding the needs of our citizens is critical to ensure that we can address those needs immediately, hands-on. And that's what I've been able to do and accomplish over the last couple of months here as the mayor of Lawrence. Understanding what their needs are and how to address them. Because I have been there, I have fought for our residents in the past, and now in the middle of the pandemic, I am fighting for them to ensure that we can address the concerns that they're facing. But the pandemic is not the only fight that we're having. We also have to address economic recovery in the city, and I'm proud to say that we have been removing barriers that have existed to our small business community as they're trying to get back on their feet. I firmly and strongly believe that the local economy is dependable on small business owners. They are the backbone of the economy in Lawrence, and that's why I've been supportive of their efforts to keep moving in the right direction and removing unnecessary barriers to have access to the necessary funding to keep moving forward.
So I actually wanted to touch on that a little bit. I know you've said previously that at the beginning of your term, you aimed to create a comprehensive business plan to help these small business owners who were hit hard by the pandemic. What does that look like now that we've reached probably the 7-month mark, and how have you worked to help those small business owners?
Yeah, so one thing that we did immediately was remove a barrier that existed to be able to obtain something called a business certificate that will enable businesses, the opportunity to submit an application for the SBA grant. If you didn't have that certificate, you couldn't submit the application. We identified that there were close to 120 businesses that were struggling to get this certificate because of the barriers that existed within the city. By removing those barriers and ensuring that we streamline the process, those 120 businesses now combined had access to close to $9 million in funding for them to be able to keep their businesses open. I have continued, the expansion of childcare vouchers. A lot of the businesses had approached me to explain that a lot of the employees did not have the ability to return back to work because they did not have anyone to take care of their kids. So I have extended this childcare program in the city to ensure that businesses and employees, feel secure enough that their children will be taken good care of while the parents are working. And those are, examples of how we have been supportive of our small business community. But we also, move very quickly on a program that was pre-existing and expanded on it on the restaurant initiative program that also allow a lot of our restaurants to be able to, for the first time ever, participate in a city-run program to be able to provide meals for those most vulnerable in the city, including the elderly and people that have been testing positive. And that essentially transitioned to allowing, those restaurants to remain open. And at the same token, they were able to purchase their goods and produce that they needed from the local bodegas. And, as a result of that, it had a trickle effect on the local economy. And, that's something that I am proud of, ensuring that we push forward.
Yeah. I also wanted to touch on that Lawrence is home to one of the largest Latino populations in the state of Massachusetts. And with COVID-19 kind of making Latinos one of the groups that have been hit hardest by the disease, how are you ensuring the safety of your constituents now that the Delta variant is spreading and worsening across the United States? How do you see yourself continuing to support that protection of them?
Definitely. So effective, Wednesday, August 4th, so 2 days ago, we implemented a mask mandate in all public buildings. I think that this was necessary to ensure that we minimize the impact, not just for, city employees, but also for our, residents that are visiting any public buildings. We will continue our fight with, ensuring that there's accessibility for the vaccine throughout the city. And we have launched a program that begins tomorrow, Saturday, the 7th, which is the summer series. And it will be a number of block parties that will be happening throughout the city of Lawrence to encourage people to get their vaccines right there and then at the block parties. And we have other efforts that we will continue to ensure that folks understand that this is a data-driven program to get the vaccine available to all of our residents.
Wow, and how can people find more information about this summer series?
Definitely, they can visit our website, www.cityoflawrence.com/VAC VAC Lawrence.
All right, thank you. And then I was kind of wondering, just as we see things are always changing with the virus and the Delta variant spread, I'm wondering, so with your comprehensive business plan and the ways you want to help small businesses, if they are even more so affected by the spread of the disease coming further, how do you plan to continue to support them?
We will continue to find innovative and creative ways to ensure that we provide any and all necessary support to keep them thriving. We need to support our small business community, and something that we will continue to do is have our economic development team, empowered and collaborate with other institutions locally to provide them all of the, all their needs, to provide them with their needs. Because I strongly and firmly believe that we need to support them, especially in moments like this. And as I already mentioned, an expansion of the childcare vouchers is critical to ensure that employees can ensure that they are at work. We have also extended the accessibility to the free buses. We have 3 bus routes that are completely free to residents to ensure that there's no difficulty in terms of transportation, getting to and from work. So those are initiatives that we have continued to expand upon, and understanding the need to get our businesses, support.
That's great. Could you just tell me a little bit about your plans for the rest of your term as mayor and what you're looking forward to?
Definitely. So I think that one of the most important things for me is to remain accessible to our community members and maintain an open government. So that's something that I pride on. But not only that, I think it's removing barriers that exist within local government that prevent our community from moving, in the right direction. Having development that is, focused on the people, especially here in the city. And my term officially ends in about 4 months. So I will continue to fight strongly for all people of the city of Lawrence and remove unnecessary barriers that exist.
That's great to hear. Is there any other resources or links you'd like to share before our time is up?
I highly encourage people to visit our www.cityoflawrence.com/backlawrence, and there you'll be able to find all of our vaccine efforts that we're working on. Also, if you are a business owner or resident of the city, in our website you'll be able to find all of the information that we have talked about and additional resources that we didn't have the time to cover today.
Thank you so much for talking with us, Mayor Vasquez, and for being our guest on MALN Opinion Plus.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Join us for another episode next week. For more information about our discussion today, check out our web story on malatinonews.com. Follow us on Twitter at MALatinoNews and Instagram at MA_Latino News. I'm Diego Viruel with MALN Opinion Plus. See you next time.